Well, hello enemies book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I filmed anything, but I am very excited to be here and be doing my TBR for the month of June. So June should be a bit nicer for me. I had the biggest slump of my life in May. It was horrendous. I read only, so far I've only read one book and I'm on the way to finishing two more maybe. I might be able to finish one more, but that is crazy. I never read only like 1 or 2 books a month. Ever since I started reading in 2018, this is like the worst slump I've ever had. So I'm hoping the slump goes away because I only read 1, maybe 2 books for May, which is horrendous. So hopefully June is kinder. I get back into the reading mood. I feel like a lot of us have kind of been in the slump. And I think that sometimes season changing kind of makes me slump. I don't know if that's like you, but it feels like kind of strategically around the time that the seasons begin to change, I start to realize I'm slumping. I'm not sure if there's a correlation, but I feel like there could be. But a few things before we begin for my TBR game. I am going to be changing a spot on my board game. So if you look closely, it's kind of hard to tell, but I kind of removed my unwrapped books. I'm going to still unwrap my books, but I'm going to be doing it as like a video project. So that way I don't want to randomize when it happens because it's very rare that I actually get to read other books outside my TBR. So adding another 1 or 2 books is usually too difficult for me. So I removed that from this and I'm going to be doing that as like a side project. Eventually you will see unwrapper and haul videos. But instead, I added what I call Roll for Reads, which is not the first person ever called it that, but I still want to call it that because it sounds cute, okay? So if you can see, I don't know if you can tell, right here and right here I drew it myself, as you can probably tell, but that is my spot for Roll for Reads. What this is where I roll 2 die and it determines a different prompt for me. Some of them are repeats from the board, but most of them are not. I will let you look at it. It's not going to be like, you know, the most groundbreaking thing in the world. I will explain it if I ever land on it. But again, I made this myself. It is really cute, as you can see right here, and it's kind of adorable. So here they are. Oh. If you want to pause and look, but this is what I'm going to be doing instead for unwrapping. I'm still going to unwrap books, but I like to have the option to do it when I want to and when I have time to do it. So that is going to be the only change for my TBR game for June and onward. I would like to talk about 2 books I want to read for June before we even start our TBR game. So one of those books, I know I had this on past TBRs. I feel like most of these books are going to be from past TBRs. I really need to get series completed. So series is going to be my main priority if that's possible. The first one is going to be one I'm going to be putting for a reading vlog. So the next video you'll see from me, probably in around 2 weeks time, will be a reading vlog for Dawn Shard. I was supposed to read this months ago and I never got around to it, but I'm going to be posting a Dawn Shard reading vlog. I'm actually excited about it because I put a kind of a break on the Stormlight Archive and I needed one, and now I think I'm kind of in the mood to get back into it maybe. So at least this is a novella, so it's short and easy. I'm going to be finally reading Dawn Shard and that will be the next reading vlog you will see from me. So I'm very excited to see that. I tend to really enjoy reading vlogs, so I'm probably going to do Dawn Shard and then like finishing or completing series or continuing series kind of reading vlog. So yes, this is the next video you'll be seeing from me. So I'm going to be picking this up within the next week and a half. So this is book 1 for my video already. And then the next book that I really want to get to that I had in my last TBR, I think you're crooked. Let me fix you. 1 second. You're not crooked. My eyes are just horrible. I'm not using my glasses, so let me see if there's a glare. The glare isn't too bad today because I'm actually using natural sunlight today. Another book I wanted to read in May and I never got around to is my arc that I was planning on getting to. I like to read my NetGalley arcs before they come out, and I still have until the 23rd of June, so I should be fine. This is Chase Me If You Can by Heather Francis. I talked about this last month. It's like a storm chaser kind of romance. Sounds cute, contemporary romance. Standalone, so this one should be pretty simple and easy to get through. So this is my second books for my TBR already, and we haven't even started the TBR game. I try not to put books from the other months on to the TBR game because I feel like it's kind of like, what's the point of even doing TBR games at that point? So I want to just add these extra and see, hopefully, fingers crossed, that I have extra room to fit these on. But regardless, these are 2 that I definitely want to try prioritizing. Dawn Shard and Chase Me If You Can are the books I want to read. But let's get into the actual TBR game next because we do need to do that. Let's first do my spinner wheel to see what happens, see if I get any added rolls, if I get to redo a roll, or if I get a safe spot so nothing happens. But yeah, we're gonna do our pylon space. If pylon space essentially means that if I land on a pylon space, I don't get to take the highways, which is like the places I always go to. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Like I said, May was a really rough month for me. It was a very bad slump month. Had a lot of ups and downs. Like my depression was horrible for half of the month. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the spinner wheel will be nice to me. So let's do our spinner wheel and see what we get for June. Okay, let's just first place our pylon spot. At least it's a safe spot. That's not bad. Okay, let's do our actual roll to see what June has in store for us. Oh no! Okay, so it's not a pile-on spot, but I did add another roll. Okay, so that is 6 rolls. Okay, well, it could have went worse. It could have went worse, technically speaking. We could have got the pile-on space and an added roll, so that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna be okay with this one because we got an added roll, which is still fun, you know? I like to play my TBR game, but I also don't want to put too many rolls on my TBR because obviously, you know. You know what? I'm gonna manifest that June will be a great reading month for all of us. We're halfway through the year almost. So let's just like read a lot of books and get our, you know, reading moods back, because if you're slumping, let me know, because I feel like it's a universal experience right now in the book community. So, okay, 6 rolls, not too bad. I honestly love making rolls, so I'm gonna be okay with this right now, for now. I might change my mind later. With that all being said, let's finally get to the TBR game and see what my first rolls are going to be. All right, let's just get started with our first roll. That's a big number to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Library prompt. This is so easy. I love this one. Library book usually is pretty simple. I will say last time I said I don't want to just choose a library book because it's too easy. This month I'm going to do that because, again, I want it to be easy for me. So I'm just gonna go with the library book. It doesn't have to be anything specific. For this one, I actually want to choose one that I forgot to get from my library, which is wild because it was in the library. It's currently on my hold shelf, so I will have it available for me when I go to the library in a few days. But that is going to be Fire by Kristen Kishore. This is a series. The first book was Graceling, so I think this is a Graceling series, I think. But all I know is this is like a fantasy romance YA. It's more fantasy than romance, I will admit. And I kind of like that aspect of it, although there weren't things I loved about the first book. For Gracelings, I really liked the beginning of the book, not so much the ending of the book. So I want to know if I will like this one. It's YA, and I think that it kind of is easier to consume because of that, but it does have its problem. The scenes end very quickly and abruptly, and I found a few things I didn't love, but I still like the premise. It's really, really interesting and really cool. In this book, we're following Gracelings, which are people who are born with different eye colors, and that means they have different powers, and some people have really, really good graces, or people sometimes just have like the most simplest things, like being really good at singing, or something that's smaller. So there's Gracelings that are kind of like on the lower end of how useful they are, which sounds kind of mean, but that's kind of the truth. And then our main protagonist is someone that is the complete opposite. She is incredibly strong, and her uncle or her father uses her to go after people because she is very good at assassinating people. So he tells her to do something, she doesn't want to do it, and so she runs off and finds Prince Poe, I think his name is, and they kind of start to go on an adventure together, and things continue from there. It's a little bit broad, but I don't want to talk too much about what it's about because I think it is pretty much the entire premise of the book. I still liked it. I like Prince Poe. He's really likable. I kind of like his smug attitude. He has like a cat energy, and I love that. Like I said, I liked aspects of it, but I think there's some scenes that are just so quick and fast, and I just didn't love, but I really enjoyed it. I still remember a lot of the parts of the book, which is pretty good for me. I don't usually remember much from books, so the fact that I was able to remember a lot of the information is a good sign. So Fire is book 2, and I'm hoping I like this one. This one's going to kind of tell me if I want to continue the series or not. So hopefully this book pushes me to continue the series because I want to like it. Let's move on now to roll number no, that's not. Let's now move on to roll number 2. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Mood read. I've been getting this so often. I'm so excited. So roll number 2 is mood read. So technically speaking, this 6 roll thing isn't that bad because we did get a mood read for this prompt, which is pretty nice to me. And for this one, I'm gonna go with one I already had for my TBR last month. I will be honest with you, that's a reason why I'm adding this to my list. Not only because I didn't read many books for May, but also because this book was on hold from someone else, and I had to give it to them before I even got to read this book. So it was kind of rude of them. I'm just kidding, it's not their fault. They were just trying to read the book, but it's currently on the way to my library again, so I can finally get it from my library and read the book this time, and that is Steel Striker by Marie Lu. Again, I did intend to read this so I could finish a duology, and I really want to finish my series in duologies, so I really want to get to this one, so I plan on doing it in June. I want to get to this one a bit earlier on, so that way if they want to take it out again, that doesn't happen. I already talked about this one a bit last month, so I'm not talking too much about it now. It's a post-apocalyptic, kind of like futuristic, it's like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic series with like bioweapons and like old machinery from like the old ones. It kind of gives me Horizon Zero Dawn without the dinosaurs, obviously, but instead adding biological weapons that used to be humans that are now being like controlled by the government. It's a huge thing, a little very political, very like, again, sci-fi post-apocalyptic. There is romance in this book, and there's only 2 books, so it should be really easy to get through. I have heard mixed things about this one though, so I'm going into it kind of wary, but I'm still gonna give it a try. I did like book 1, so there's always a chance I'll like this one as well. Moving on now to roll number 3. Oh my gosh. Another big number, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh god, no. We're not doing scratch off. I just don't want to do a scratch off today. We're not gonna do that one. We're gonna do a prompt card instead. So, I mean, I'm already using it only on prompt 3, but we're doing it. So these are my prompt cards. I get to use one of these every single game. So let's see what the prompt is for today. The prompt is color or colors in a craft okay. So this is essentially a book with colors on the cover that match my current whip or my current work in progress. So my latest craft project. Roll number 3 gave me scratch off. I did not want scratch off, so I decided to do a prompt card instead. And for this one, I got to do a book cover that is based off of my current craft work in progress. And I actually really like this one. I made this one up myself, and I think it's really fun for someone that does crafts and reading. So if you do crafts, maybe think of doing this as a prompt if you have your own TBR game. But I have, it's over there though. I did show it in my romance reading vlog, so I did kind of show my progress. I did a little bit more progress since then. Okay, let me go grab it. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like so you know the color scheme, because I'm not even close to done yet. I'm only like 15% done this one, but let me grab it and then I'll show it to you so you know what it looks like. I'm also gonna put Dawn Shard here. Can you even see it? Not really, you can't really see it. Dawn Shard is very tiny. It's over here. I promise. My current work in progress is still Bastilos. I remembered his name this time, I think. Bastilos? Listen, there's so many B names in Monster Hunter. There's Bastilos, Barioth, Basarios, Baroth. There's so many names that start with a B and A. It's insane. But I think this is Basarios. So this is a Monster Hunter work in progress. As you can kind of see, there's like Azure Rathalos over here. There's Baroth over here. There's Baroth. And this is Barioth. See, as you can tell, all the B names. It's alphabetical order, that's why. But this is Basarios. Basarios is a stone type rock kind of monster who's very difficult to fight, especially if you have weapons that have a lot of sharpness, like long swords and great swords and whatever else. So essentially this is I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Again, if you saw the romance raffle, you will know, but this is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to have like this emblem for the monster. And so as you can tell, it has a lot of earthy tones. So like greens, blues, browns, stuff like that. So I decided to have to pick a book with those colors. I didn't have a whole lot of options, I'll be honest with you. This is pretty broad, and I feel like a lot of books with like plants on the cover with like oceans, things like that should count. But it was really hard to find this color scheme. But I actually ended up finding one on my want to read list. And this is pretty good because this is a short one. It's like 100 or less pages. It is like a graphic novel. So this one shouldn't be too difficult for me to get to. This is volume 1 of Vox Machina by Critical Role, which is a D&D campaign, obviously Critical Role. This is the first campaign. I have watched almost half of the campaign before I just put it on hold because I have so many other things I want to do. But I really, really love the campaign and it's so good. I've watched a little bit of campaign 4, but I'm trying to wait to finish campaign 1 before I start 2. So I've been wanting to do it though because I really heard good things about campaign 2. So I want to continue campaign 1. For this volume, it is following a few of our characters before the events of campaign 1. If you don't know anything about it, campaign 1 is essentially like a story pretty much. So every single campaign in D&D is like a different kind of story with different characters, and campaign 1 begins kind of in the middle of it because our characters or the players were already in the middle of playing this for years prior to uploading it to YouTube. So this is kind of like showing you how the characters met each other before they were a YouTube channel. And so it's really cool. We see Vex and Vax on the cover. So I'm looking forward to seeing like the kind of origin story of our characters of this party because I love them so much. I fall in love with them. I also watched some of the show. I only watched the first season. I haven't finished the arc in the actual campaign for the season 2 of the TV show. So I need to finish like the dragon arc before I watch the other seasons. But I'm excited to continue this one. I love D&D. It's one of my biggest hobbies outside of reading. So it's really cool to be able to get into Vox Machina and see where they all began, I guess you could say. Or at least how they met, because that's kind of what this one's about. So I'm looking forward to it. The colors are almost identical. I did my best. This one is the closest I can find. So this one will count for my current work in progress color scheme for my craft project. With only 3 rolls left, let's move on to roll number 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, romance novel. Easy. Oh boy. Okay, roll number 4 gave us a romance book, which is lovely. I always love to see romance because it is my most read genre. And so I'm going to be, for this one, reading a book that came out on hold from my library. This will have to be the book I read right away because it has like a few holds on it, and this is the only copy from my library. I was the first one to put a hold on it. I'm so excited about it, and that is continuing a series that it just released. I think it just released in May. I might be wrong. That is Roles and Rivalry by Christy Boyce. It took me like 3 attempts to say that. I don't know why. This is from the Dungeons and Drama series. I've read the first 2 books. I really like the first one so much. The second one was okay. I didn't love it, but it was okay. And this is going to be the 3rd book. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more. There might be one more. I think there is one more. But regardless, I'm really excited to be getting to this one because I've been reading them as they come out, and I don't want to get behind on my series. I want to stay caught up on it. So I'm going to be continuing it with Roles and Rivalry. It's tongue twister. This is a contemporary romance YA series following different characters in different like D&D situations. Our main character, Hazel, she is in the band camp, and she's also going to plan on starting her own D&D campaign. So she wants to be the DM, which is the dungeon master, the person that kind of like narrates the story and, you know, helps the players go throughout their journey. And so she wants to be a DM, she wants to try this out, but unfortunately for her, someone actually ends up showing up to her school, and that is Max, which is her prior best friend that she had a crush on in the past. And so he comes up to the school with like, I think he has like drumsticks or something, and he is planning on also joining the band, and also he decides to join the D&D campaign that she is running, and there's a little bit bickering back and forth between the two of them, but eventually, you know, love blooms, and despite the fact that they are kind of like rivals to an extent, they start to like each other. Sometimes D&D brings people together, and I guess in this case, that is also the case. Although it can also break people apart. It completely depends on the campaign and the party. Sounds really cute, very simple. I love rivals to lovers. I don't know if it's going to be done well because, you know, people kind of overuse enemies and rivals to lovers, but hey, I still like the vibes, so I'm going to go into it very openly and not be too, you know, expectant of anything. Also, look at the dog! Look at the dog! Like, I don't know whose dog that is, if it's hers or his, but I love the dog. I'm a dog person. I love cats too, but I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. And I just like how cute this dog is. I love him. I love him so much, or her, whatever. So for book number 4, for my romance book, I will be choosing Roles and Rivalry. All right, moving on now to role number 5. Okay, we're getting down to the danger path, but for now I'm safe. Maybe. Yes, I am currently safe. No way. No way. Our second mood read? Are you kidding me? Okay, so June clearly was just trying to troll me with that, you know, extra roll, but I'm excited about this one. Okay, we got mood read for this one. Again, a second mood read of the game. You know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take another mood read because, again, May was a horrible month for me. It was not good. My depression was horrible. I was just not doing well mentally for most of it. Not all of it, just most of it. And I was really slumpy. So the fact that I got another mood read is like the best case scenario. For this one, I'm probably gonna be continuing a series. Although, I want to kind of give myself a mood read and choose between a few options. And I'll very quickly tell you about them and then choose from one of those when I'm in the mood to read them. Now, the first one that comes to mind is one that I told you all that I really want to talk about because I want to see if I like book 2. This was in my romance raffle vlog, The Masked Mage, which was the first book. And I want to try the second book and see if I recommend this series because the book 1 had a lot of potential. It had a lot of boring parts to it though. So I want to see if there's potential in this series and see if I like book 2. I love slow burn, I love fantasy romance, and I loved like a masked hero. Although in this book he might not be. I'll be honest with you, the covers aren't great, but the content has things in it that I enjoy. I'm not gonna be able to remember the name of everything, so I'm gonna have to read it. This is book 2 from the Legends of Abrea series, and this is The Unseen Heir. This is written by Kenley Davidson. And as I mentioned, I wanted to give this one a try to see if I recommend the series. And I've heard like a few people mention that they're interested in it, but they don't know, you know, if they should try it or not. I will read this and I will figure this out because I definitely want to see if this is something I would recommend to people. It has potential, like I said. It's really interesting. The first book follows our main character, and she is a bodyguard to a princess. She has to go in her stead to another kingdom to pretend to be her because she is betrothed to kind of like the enemy's son, so like the king's son, who's like the prince. And so the princess is betrothed to him, but the king doesn't want to send his daughter out, so he sends her bodyguard instead. There's reasons behind this. I don't want to talk too much about it, kind of spoilers, so I'll just kind of be kind of vague about it. But there's also a guy there called the Raven, who is a bodyguard of the king from the opposing side, and he has to watch over her and keeps an eye on her, and he cannot speak. He is masked. He is pretty much like magically chained in a way or imprisoned in this armor, and he's always around her, and it's pretty cute, honestly. Although again, it was kind of boring at times. We were just her in a castle, and all the scenes that weren't about the romance I didn't care about, but it is a very slow burn. There is no kissing. There's like hardly any physical contact. It's really, really interesting. I love slow burn, so for me this is awesome. I love it so much. Book 2, it's going to be following off of what happens after the ending of book 1. Obviously I can't say too much about it, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot of tension in book 2 considering how it ended in book 1. I don't know. I will let you know, I guess, eventually if I recommend the series or not, and if I think it's worth reading. But I would recommend try the first book if you're interested. Although, again, I don't know. It was kind of boring. I gave it a 3 stars. So we'll see if I like this one a bit more. If I don't get to The Unseen Heir, I plan on potentially getting to Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I read Spark of the Everflame. Where is it? Right here, the annotated copy of my friend Lore. I'm going to be reading the second book. The first book, oh my god, the main character was so insufferable, but I loved everything else about it. I loved every little aspect of this book other than the main female protagonist, which is kind of a big deal. Usually you shouldn't hate the protagonist, but I don't hate her. She's a lot, okay? She's a little bit insufferable at times. She's not very smart. She does things that are really stupid, and honestly, she drives me at the wall, but I really like parts of it, and I heard that it gets better as you read the series, so I'm gonna keep trudging through and see if I like it or if I don't like it. So this is another potential option for me. This is a fantasy romance series. I don't even know how to really talk about it. What is this about again? Someone's mowing their grass. It's 7:30 at night. I didn't think anyone would mow their grass. Okay. So I'm so sorry about that. That's so annoying. I don't remember exactly, I'll be honest with you guys. It was kind of just like very stereotypical fantasy romance, but I want to give it a try anyways, to try it out. I feel like I should give you more information, but I honest to goodness can't tell you that much because I don't remember much. It was very, very cliche though, but it's still fun, so I'm gonna try book 2 and see if I like it. If I decide to not read The Unseen Heir, I will read this one instead. So those are my 2 options for mood read. We'll see which one I get to in June, if I get to any of them. If I feel like it, whatever one I feel like doing as a mood read, I will read. Moving on now to our 6th and final roll. Okay, last one. Can I get roll for reads? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I can't. That sucks. Okay, maybe next time. But for this one, we're going to do 6. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. I spoke too soon. Okay, we're gonna do TBR jar. Okay, so we're gonna move this to the side and we're going to check out my TBR jar, which has over 200 books in here that have been on my TBR or want to read list for years. I mean like 5+ years, some of them. So let's just see what I end up getting for this. Please not new series, please not new series. Okay. This is 298 and this is a fantasy romance. What's up with fantasy romances lately? Okay, I've been getting this all the time. This is The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. So for this one, I'm kind of excited about this one. For this one, we got a big book. We got a really big book, and honestly, it was gonna happen eventually. I always have to have one chunky book on my TBR, and that for this month is going to be The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. This is actually, oh wait, I forgot to show it to you. Here it is. I'm gonna have to hold it kind of toward myself because the glare is so bad because it's a library copy, but hopefully that's okay. This is another fantasy romance. The only good thing about this book is that it is a duology. So that is something positive about this book. Although, how big is this book? Oh my gosh, this book is 630 pages. Okay. I will say, I am shocked to find out that this is actually a book set in the world of Serpent and Dove series, which is crazy. I did read the Serpent and Dove series years ago. I don't remember much about it, I'll be honest with you. I did like the male protagonist because he was a redhead, and you don't see that like ever in romance books, so I was happy to see that. My boyfriend, by the way, is ginger or like has red hair. It's like a copper shade of hair and I love it. It's so cute and so pretty. Anyway, I love almost all hair colors, but I'm just saying I am a little bit biased in that regard. So I don't think this is going to be that case in this book, but this is in the same world as Serpent and Dove, which makes me very intrigued. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know about this book really. It was in my TBR jar for years, so I'm happy to have gotten around to it, and the second book came out last year, so I think it's a good time for me to get to it. Now this is a fantasy romance again. Fantasy paranormal romance, I should say, but it is also YA. We have a few YA books on this list today, so that's going to be interesting. Hopefully I will still enjoy it, but we'll see. This is also supposedly enemies to lovers again. Is it actually enemies to lovers? We'll find out. Although I do know why it could be, potentially. Our main protagonist in this book is named Celie. I don't know how to say her name. I'm just gonna call her Celie, okay? It's probably wrong. but I don't know how to say it, all right? Sorry. Celie defies tradition and becomes the first huntswoman. So I guess usually like they're huntsmen, but she is a huntswoman. The chief and her new captain of the huntsmen is her fiance, Jean-Luc, who rules with an iron fist, whatever that means. Where she lives in Belterra, there are people being found drained of blood, and there is a trail of them. So our main character, Celie, actually ends up going and tracking this person down, or trying to track this person down to see who's doing this. She gets led to a place that she has been told her whole life is like a fairy tale in an ancient land, and she ends up finding the king there, who she can imagine is probably going to be a vampire, but I'm not too mad about that. Although if he's a king, he's probably not young. This is YA, we'll see. Despite having a fiance, I suppose she sees a vampire king and she starts to like him, enemies to lovers. Honestly, if I saw a vampire king, I'd probably also say goodbye to my fiance. No offense to my boyfriend, like we've been together for 12 years. I'm not gonna leave him for a vampire lord. Honestly, they don't exist. So that's the only reason why. I was kidding. Also because I genuinely do like him as a person, I promise. I feel like this is gonna be really, really easy and fast. Again though, another fantasy romance, like what's going on? I feel like I'm getting them all the time, but at the same time, they're kind of fun. I'm just afraid that they're gonna get too similar and it's going to kind of like make me a bit unsure if I want to continue reading more. Although this is also like a paranormal fantasy romance because it has like vampires and stuff, so it's kind of like fantasy paranormal romance. It's not just fantasy romance. So you know what? It might be a different kind of feel toward it, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Again, this is a duology, so I will actually say, as I put this down as my 6th pick, I will say there's a very small potential for my mood read, the one I just mentioned before with The Unseen Air and Glow of the Everflame. There's a very small chance I will get to the second book after the Scarlet Veil if I really want to get to the second one. If I want to just like read them back to back, I might actually do that. And that is The Shadow Bride. So this is book 2. Potentially I might mood read this if I feel like it, because I do have 2 mood reads on this board, so I might get to this one as well. Although it is 628 pages, so it is very unlikely I'll actually get to this one. So doubtful, but hey, it's still an option if I want to get to it. So there's no harm just adding it in case. So those are all the books for my June TBR, or ones I want to get to, maybe get to, you know, my mood reads. We'll see what I end up actually getting to for June. I'm hoping it'll get better than May. May was not good at all. So fingers crossed that June will be better for all of us, including myself, because I really need a good month. I really do. These are all the books I plan on getting to in June, potentially. My Aurelium kind of readathon, or like magical readathon equinox thing, is to read a book over 500 pages. So as long as I read one of my big chunky books from this list, I will be able to do that pretty easily. So that is very manageable. The total page count for this goes from 2,948 pages if I read The Unseen Air to 3,270 pages if I decide to read The Shadow Bride instead. So yeah, very much depending on what I read, those are my page counts. I doubt I'll be able to read 3,200, but 2,900 is a lot more doable for me. With that all being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you all for like still watching my videos or watching my old live sprints or just like saying how much you miss my videos and stuff. It actually means like the world to me, so thank you all so much. I'm still watching BookTube, I'm still commenting on people's videos, I'm still trying to be in the community as much as I can. So just thank you for being here and being a part of this and just like always keeping me company, because sometimes it is hard, you know, outside of YouTube. I usually seem very happy, and it's genuinely because I love doing this, but obviously I have my hard days. I do deal with a lot of mental health issues, so it is hard sometimes, but I'm happy to be here and be filming again, and I just cannot wait. So hopefully this goes up on the weekend, so that way you will be able to see this before June or at like the first day of June. If you want to show any type of support and want to leave an emoji down below, as always, put a like band type emoji in the background. So drums probably, because there is drums in the background, but any type of instrument that you'd see in a band camp. The lawnmower is still going, so we're gonna end the video off here. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you so very much. Have an amazing June. I hope it's kind to you. Hopefully you find some amazing reads, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.